Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today, I am coming back at you guys with another scary story. Now, the last one I did was a little funny, but this one's actually kinda spooky, and this one is called The Little Black Dog. And no, I'm not racist, it's just called that, okay? It's not my fault the dog was black. I swear, it's like you can't say anything these days. But anyway, the story of the Little Black Dog is a scary story. It is based on a folktale called Cy Burton's Little Black Dog, who was blowed up by the church house. It says blowed up, I didn't just say that wrong. And other Ozark folktales by Vance Randolph. A version of the story appeared in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz. But enough of the jibber jabber, let's jump right over to the story. The Little Black Dog. There was an old man named Billy who claimed that he was being followed around by a little black dog. He said it followed him wherever he went, and it wouldn't leave him alone. Billy could often be seen hollering and cursing and throwing rocks, trying to drive the dog away. All of the people in town thought he was crazy, because there was no dog there. Whenever somebody tried to tell Billy there wasn't any dog to see, he would reply, "Maybe you don't see it, but I do, and I'm not any crazier than you are." As the story goes, the first time Billy saw the little black dog was on the day he killed Silas Burton. Back in those days, the town was full of robbers and bandits. Everyone carried a gun, and people were always going around and fighting each other or killing each other. Billy was a young man back then, and he hated Silas Burton. They had been feuding for years. One day, Billy saw Silas come riding towards him. As soon as their eyes met, both men went for their guns. Billy managed to get his first and fired the first shot. He hit Silas Burton square in the shoulder, knocking him off his horse. The horse got a fright and ran off, leaving Silas Burton lying there in the dirt with a bloody arm and a broken back. His gun had fallen where he couldn't reach it, and he was just a sitting duck. He lay there on the ground, writhing in pain and begging Billy not to kill him. Billy just looked down at him, spit in his face, and then he leveled his gun and killed him in cold blood. Silas Burton's little black dog came running over and started licking the dead man's face. Then it let out a pitiful whine and started barking and snarling at Billy. Still in a murderous rage, Billy killed the dog too and left both of the corpses lying there in the road. Back then, there was no law in the town, so there was no sheriff or no deputies to arrest Billy. After the murder, he just walked home, drank a few beers, and went to bed. But all night long, he heard the little black dog whining outside his cabin. "I must be imagining things," Billy said to himself as he tossed and turned in bed. "That dog is dead. I know because I shot it myself." The next morning when Billy woke up, he looked out of the window and saw the dog staring back at him. It was waiting for him outside. From that moment on, not a day went by when he didn't see it. At night, the dog would be scratching on his door and barking to be let in. During the day, it would follow him around town. Billy kept finding black dog hairs everywhere. They were on his sofa, on the floor, on his bed, and sometimes he even had them in his food. The whole house stank of dog. "It ain't my imagination," Billy said. "That's Cy Burton's little black dog." Things went on like that for many years. Then one morning in the middle of winter, the neighbors didn't see any smoke coming out of Billy's chimney. When they went to his house to check up on him, Billy wasn't there. A few days later, they found his body lying in a field behind his cabin. Billy had plenty of enemies, and at first it seemed like somebody might have killed him, but there wasn't a mark on him. He was lying in the snow, and there wasn't any footprints out there except for Billy's. The doctor couldn't find anything wrong with the body, and he couldn't figure out the cause of death. He said that Billy might have died of old age, or a heart attack, or the cold, but nobody believed that. There was something odd about his death. When the neighbors found Billy, there were black dog hairs all over his clothes. There were even a few on his face. It smelled like a dog had been out there, yet no one had seen a dog anywhere. And that is the end of that. So that was a pretty good story. I was just a little confused about the timeline in which this took place. I don't know if you guys caught this too, but it kind of sounded to me like when Billy was like, when he fought with Cy Burton, it sounded like the Old West, like sometime in the 1800s, right? So like, they're cowboys, obviously, they had guns in their holsters, there was no law in the town, so there was no sheriffs or anything like that, so it was literally the Wild West. So it almost sounds like this took place in like a cowboy day era. They're both riding horses and they've got guns, and they like did the Old West thing where they like see each other. It's like they have to stare off, and then it's like draw, and whoever shoots first is the winner. And then it kind of like, it's saying Billy is an old man now, and it kind of makes it sound like it's today with like his neighbors and his furniture in his house and like stuff like that. And it just kind of sounds like it went from being like Billy was a young man in the 1800s, he was a Wild West cowboy shooting up the place and being a robber or whatever, and then now he's an old man in 2022. He's like finding dog hairs on his flat screen TV. Like, I don't know, the timeline kind of threw me off a little with this one, but it was a good story. I mean, the dog, obviously, I felt bad for the dog. Even Cy Burton, I felt kind of bad for. He was like begging him to spare his life, and he just shot him in cold blood. So I feel kind of bad for that, and the dog had to witness his owner getting killed. So in this story, I'm actually on Cy Burton's side and the dog, but I feel like the dog's ghost haunted Billy for the rest of his days, until I think Billy maybe just did die of old age. I mean, he was like 250 years old or something, so I don't know. But it was a good story. Let me know in the comment section, what did you guys think? Smash a like on the video, I would really appreciate that, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. Peace out, and chase your dreams.